Not yet?
I didn't hear from her at all.
No. Did you hear from Joanne?
I didn't hear from Chandria or Joanne. But I thought Kyle said Joanne was getting on.
It was on her her name was on her just a minute ago.
Maybe she lost. Let me log out of Zoom since nobody's on here on this video.
So the link that's embedded in the document doesn't allow you to access it. I don't know if it's because it was scanned. I even tried to copy the link and it doesn't even give you the function to copy it.
Kyle, is that how you got in?
Yeah, I just got on the link. I just clicked on the blue portion and it directed me in.
I see it.
But browser.
I typed in the I typed in all that big long stuff. The zoom.us. And then I put in the meeting ID number. Anyway, I got in the video, but I don't have any audio for it. Should we wait any more time for Joanne? Did somebody say she was in or no? Uh-oh. Here she is. I'm on, but I have no microphone, she says.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so she's here. So we're just missing Chandria. Chandria. I'll give it one more minute to 7:05 and then we'll start. Get this meeting on.
Got some music. Get that background music going.
Yeah, background music. Okay, I have 7:05. That's my little knock. Pursuant to Section 551 of the Texas Government Code, notice is hereby given of a special meeting of the Red Oak Park and Recreation Commission being held Tuesday, September 29th at 7 p.m. via telephone conference, at which time we will have the following be discussed and considered. In accordance with the order of the Office of the Governor issued on March 16, 2020, and as amended on April 2nd, 2020, the Parks Board for the City of Red Oak, Texas, will conduct a special meeting by telephone conference at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, September 29th, 2020, in order to advance the public health goal of limiting face-to-face meetings, also called social distancing, in an effort to slow the spread of the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. This is an open meeting conducted by telephone conference. There's no public access to a physical location. City staff and Red Oak Park Board members are encouraged to participate in the meeting by teleconference in order to allow the city to follow the CDC social distancing guidelines. I do call this meeting to order. I do declare a quorum is present by telephone and declare notices legally posted pursuant to the Open Meetings Act. We'll still do the invocation and pledge of allegiance. Yeah. Okay. Everyone bow your heads. Let's pray. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for allowing us to gather together to discuss what is in the best interest of the kids for the citizens of Red Oak, Texas. We honor you and we give you all the glory and praise. And in your name we pray. Amen. Okay, and I have a flag, but we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
And
one nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
Liberty,
with
justice
liberty
for all.
and justice for all.
Thank you, thank you. There's no presentations nor citizens to be heard. So we'll go directly into the new business open session. Lori, I'm sorry, I called the meeting to order at 7:05 when we
Yes,
started.
ma'am. I got it. Thank you.
So, open session. A consideration of the following park and recreation meeting minutes from our last regular meeting that was held February 18th. I will a motion.
A motion to
I'll make
accept.
a motion for the,
Okay, you're gonna have to tell me who's who.
Oh, Maria, motion to accept. Maria
Okay.
Dowding.
I have Maria made a motion to accept the meeting minutes as written. Do I have a second?
This is Chappelle White, I accept.
Chappelle seconds. All in favor? Aye.
Aye. Oh.
Aye.
Maria? Aye.
Joanne, if you disagree, just type something.
can you hear
But
me
if
now?
you're, Joanne, was
Yeah.
that you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, good. Status of the park, trout stocking and kid fishing events. And Kyle?
Okay. What I want to discuss with y'all is an opportunity we have to work in conjunction with the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, Texas Parks and Wildlife, in order to do a fish stocking program. Getting into that program sometimes is challenging and you have to wait a couple of years, but this year we got really lucky and I was visiting with the regional supervisor out of Tyler, and they had an opening for the second week in December this year that they could come over to the municipal park, to the municipal pond, and stock approximately 1,000 trout. We would have a participation level in that of $1.40 per trout, and the state will cover the rest of that. Can
I'm
everybody
here.
hear me? Okay.
I can hear you, South.
I hear
Okay.
you.
Okay, and this year might not be the most opportune time to have an event for the kids, but I think it's an opportunity where in the future we could rotate. You know, we don't have a whole lot of choices this year, but next year we could get in line a little bit earlier since we'll be already in the program, to where we could have an event in January or February where they do the fish stocking. Typically they'll do that on a Wednesday and let the fish settle. And then by the time Saturday comes around, the fish get active and begin feeding. And so people can catch them. And it is a catch and keep program. And,
Oh, wow.
So they can keep up to 5 trout per day out of the pond. And
Oh,
it
wow.
would be, it'll be publicized by Texas Parks and Wildlife because since they're the main partner of this. And I think it's an opportunity we really need to look at to make an event out of it versus just stocking and saying, hey, come and fish. Because, we could do several things and, the sky's the limit. But the things that I know that we've done in the past that go along with this is angler education. They do have angler instructors that are volunteers with the Texas Parks and Wildlife. And they'll come in and they'll give a course that's probably about an hour and a half to the kids and teach them about fishing and how to fish and how to be a responsible person when you fish. And what that'll do is it's a really neat program. And when they're done with that, then you can go out and have the kid fish, and we could, potentially find sponsors to, have giveaways and, give away poles and have bait on hand so the kids that may not be able to afford or have that luxury of having fishing tackle, they can just use ours. Or potentially we could, if we get the right sponsors, somebody like Academy or somebody like that would sponsor it, where they could give us, say, 50 fishing poles, and then we could give those away to the kids that didn't have one. So
I think the fishing rod thing, it would be very easy to find a sponsor or some company that's willing to participate in that part of it for sure, because that would be a big promotional thing for them to have done something like that. So I think that's a good idea.
But the $1,400 that we'll have to put forth this year, since we never discussed it, I'd already committed out of the parks budget to do that. So that way it wouldn't affect anything that the Parks Commission wanted to do. If it was something y'all weren't interested in, it wouldn't really affect y'all's budget at all. And, so I had already opted to take that money and budget that. And all this just came about in the last 2 weeks. So it was, I've been trying to get somebody Parks and Wildlife to give me an answer. And then finally they had a vacancy. And so I said, sign us up. I'm not even gonna wait.
Yeah. Well, that was a good decision. What, because I know nothing about fishing except there's worms and you have to put it on a hook, and I don't do that.
You'll love trout fishing because they actually use corn, like cream corn out of a can, or Velveeta cheese.
Oh, okay.
It's fairly
Alrighty.
easy on the trout, and it's very popular when
Those trouts have a bad diet.
Also, what age
That's a
group?
question. I do have a question. I was at the park the other day, and I think this is an awesome thing because I was thinking about the fish when I went to exercise and walk. Will that pond be cleaned out before you put them in there? Because it was kind of icky, really icky the other day. Well, this was like last week. I don't know if they got a chance to clean it out first, but that may be a concern, especially trying to have an event and the pond doesn't look up to standard. That's just my opinion. It was very icky. I wouldn't want to fish out of there right now.
A couple of things that are happening right now. The city is attempting to acquire the acreage that's south of the pond, and part of the pond doesn't belong to us right now. And so once the city is able to acquire that property, we'll be able to expand the park further to the south across the spillway. And also, I'll be able to treat the entire pond. Right now, treating the pond is a little dicey. I did get I got a state permit to treat the filamentous algae that's floating in there. So we have, we've been able to cut it down from about 80% coverage down to probably about maybe 25%. And once we have control of the entire lake, I can treat the entire thing from end to end, and we can minimize the algae problems. Not saying that they're going to go away, but we can certainly treat what's there.
Okay, good to know.
So what do
So,
we need to do next? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
exactly. Well, that's my next question, Kyle. What do we do next now? What do we need to do?
Well, we need to see, first of all, if you guys are interested, we don't, the Public Works has taken the trash off. And we could still work with them and, do whatever, make an event out of it. And we can add this event in its place, or we can, add it to our series of events that the Parks Commission puts on. I just don't know what y'all's feelings are about it. I wanted to kind of get that out there and see if we could get some feedback. So making sure that, in the future that I'm kind of guiding this the way that we need to be going.
Well, let me just tell you, I think it's a very good idea. I think the more that we can get the community involved, the more support that we are going to have. So I am 100% behind you for making it an event.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Oh, I am too. I think I agree completely about engaging the community. This is, their community also, so we should I think this is an excellent way to bring in an event that, we can do annually, or however you do fishing events. I don't know, but I think it's very legitimate and should be pursued.
Okay. And although the timing this year is not ideal, being that we're going to be our time slot's going to be the second week of December. And with COVID and the city being on a hold right now on any large gatherings or having events that aren't severely modified, I mean, there's a lot of things that we might be able to do from a distance, but I just first of all, I didn't really know if anybody would be interested in making an event out of it. But now that I hear that, there's some support for it, to certainly go forward and start looking into ways that we can make this a community involvement event where we can, particularly getting the kids involved, because the goal of Parks and Wildlife is to try to get the kids at a young age to begin fishing, because it gives them something to do for a lifetime, because they learn how to fish and they want to do it for their entire life. So would really love to see if we had say we were to have a angler education class.
Definitely.
Say that morning, and then the kids could come and they get a certificate and everything that they've completed that. And then we can, at that point, possibly, depending upon the response and the number of kids, if you go through the class, maybe you get a fishing pole, or, if we have that luxury and have sponsors or whatever that will provide that, then we could certainly give that away to the kids, and then try to come up with different ways to give prizes for the first fish, or the first, or the first one to catch 5, or, whatever it be. We could come up with many different ideas on that, and some way to reward the kids for getting out there and catching fish.
I agree. That sounds like a good plan.
I like it. I like it because I learned how to fish at 4 and 5, so it's something I enjoy. And when you learn how to fish that young, it's something that you don't take away, and it's very relaxing. So, good job.
Oh Lord, I got to be moving. I don't have time to sit still. Lord, let me ask you a question. Do you have to have a fishing license to fish?
The state of Texas, you have to have a fishing license if you're 17 years of age or older. If you're 16 or younger, you do not have to have a fishing license.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
So the
So
younger participants. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Are we going to put it on this for the kids?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the first part of that.
Are we going to put an age limit? Are we going to have age groups maybe?
I think doing it by age groups would be best, because it's not really fair when you got a kid that's 4 years old trying to fish for the first time up against a 15-year-old that's may have fished, for his whole life, and then he's out there catching them real easy. And then that way,
Uh-huh.
it's easier to separate the prizes. I think it's kind of like we do with the Easter egg hunt. You try to be a little bit more fair
Right.
with it.
Okay. Okay. That is awesome. Awesome. Yes.
And then to close with that, I did, speaking with Parks and Wildlife, at some point they're going to come out and do a fish survey of the pond. That's where
Uh-huh.
they take a small boat with electrodes and they go out and they shock up the fish. And that way they can check their weight and size and their numbers. And from that, they'll determine if we need any additional stocking. And if we do, then they'll be more than willing to stock the general fish that they will. That's, sometimes they'll do crappie, but they'll always do the Florida bass and the catfish. And if we need feeder fish, they can do fathead minnows and some bluegill to enhance the pond. But we won't know that until when I know that they're coming, so we can, get them out there and find out what's in the pond now. And they'll give us an average depth. They'll be able to gauge that with their sonar and tell us what the depth of the pond is. And that'll be
Okay.
very important for the future. So whether we need to go through and do work on the pond and desilt it, or if it's stable and in a good position.
Well, we should have in meeting notes, maybe 3 years ago, it may be longer than that, Kyle, that we totally drained and totally redid that pond.
Okay.
So we should have all of that information. So, and I'll look here at home and see if I can find it before I come see you on Thursday.
Okay.
So-
That'd be great.
Yes, we are, or no, we are not going to do this in December.
We will need to find out if we're going to be allowed to have events, what the status is. So, we can work towards having this as an event and then check, because we're not going to have the Christmas parade this year because of COVID and the coordination issues. That was going to be extremely difficult to have a full parade. And, so this year, this could kind of fill in somewhere in there. But like I said, I really just need to check with the mayor and council and see, what they think. And if they don't think it's a good idea, then we can advertise that the fish will be there and kind of drum up some interest. That way, we'll say that, a special event coming next year or whatever for that, or we're able to secure the fish for in 2022.
Okay. Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you. Naming of the park at Oakmont Development.
Okay, would you like me to talk a little bit about that, and then I'll let y'all have discussion?
If you would, please.
Okay. As everybody probably knows, the Hargroves, particularly Casey, has been extremely active in making sure that we get a park out there, and he's put up a bunch of money. Although he did receive a grant that is reimbursable, he'll have to pay it back. So when it's all said and done, he will have spent between $700,000 and $1 million on getting that entire park and area finished out. Right now, it's at about 80%. The soccer field's open; they're playing soccer there. The restrooms will be constructed in the next 60 days. And then the playground is almost finished. It's almost finished. And then there'll be a walkway, and then he's going to put a bridge that's going to connect the east side and the west side, which means the back side of the pavilion of the picnic area, you'll be able to go across a small bridge that'll take you to the soccer fields and the walking trails. So There's almost a mile of walking trails. There's now, they're out there now. And it was suggested that we consider naming that Hargroves Park for not only Casey, but it's for his family and his dad and everybody who had something to do with it.
Mhm.
So I just needed to
Discussion?
need to see if if there's support from the Parks Board to do that, and then we'll just, if there is, then we'll send a written statement over to the City Council suggesting that they name the park in honor of the Hargrove family. We'll just call it Hargrove Park.
I think that's an excellent idea. Him and his family have done a lot of things in addition to that, but they have also contributed a lot to that park. So I think that would be an excellent name for the park.
And going along with that, I'm 100% behind doing that, but also at the same time too, I don't want it just to be written in the paper or anything else. I think we need to do a public event, whether we put it around, like the Saturdays or whatever when soccer plays. I think we can make a big deal out of it.
I like that idea. Yeah, do a ceremony almost like thing at the park.
We definitely do need to do that to give him the honor.
Absolutely.
I think your idea of a dedication is absolutely spot on. That would be very fitting to, I guess, like it's almost sort of like a ribbon cutting of sorts, but it's a naming of the park, and so that's pretty awesome. I think that's a good idea.
And because I know Casey. I've never met his dad or mom or anything like that, but when the time comes, yes, we definitely need to have his mom and dad there as well, and we'll have to get like long stem bouquet of roses for both the women. If we can find out what kind of flowers are their favorites, that'd be even better. Anyway, but we'll make plans. Chappelle, what do you think?
I love the idea. Definitely a dedication is needed.
Okay. Joanne, you still on?
Yes, I think that's a good idea. We can do it like we did Watkins Park.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So we need to find out what kind of what are you going to make? I don't want to say the tombstone because it's not a tombstone, but it looks like a tombstone. The headstone, is that what you call it?
A monument?
The monument? I don't know. That says, or I have to go out and look, and maybe Kyle, is there like an archway or something that we can contact Mr. Garcia to do, Hargrove Park or something?
Yes, I think that would be very fitting to do that, and we can kind of go out there and put our eyeballs on some locations, and then
Okay.
talk about coming up with some sort of a design and something to name the park, and then put it somewhere centrally located where everybody can see that, and you'll have the rule signs around the park. They'll have the park name, but you still want that monument that really dedicates that park to them.
Uh-huh. So, yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
I think that's great.
And with the walking trail around all of that and everything, I think the park department needs to plan on maybe putting in some exercise little stations like what we did
Oh,
over at
yeah,
Watson.
that'd be perfect.
Watson. So we need to keep that in mind. If anybody's got any connections with Baylor Hospital or maybe the Medical City place up here, see if maybe they would like to take on and sponsor that project. Maybe that could definitely help and, you know, give them some advertisement. So
Yeah,
keep that kind of back of your mind if anybody's got any connection. So,
I'm sorry?
when
I
do
think
we,
that's an excellent idea. I'm sorry, I just wanted to reinforce, I really like that.
okay,
I do
when are we talking about naming of the park? When are you suggesting?
Well, we just need to send an official letter over to the city council and just let them know that, you know, what the name that you're recommending and the fact that, like, you know, if y'all would, you call official vote and say that, you know, y'all voted on it and would like to proceed with that, and then city council can actually make it official. And then we can come back and plan the ceremony.
Okay.
perfect.
And that'll give us a little bit of time to try to design a fitting monument and location and then come up with a ceremony plan.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely think if nobody's been over there and looked at it, since Kyle took me over there and showed me, everything, I've been going over there like every other day, driving around just in awe. So if you haven't gone over there, you need to, definitely.
I'm going tomorrow. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, it is. It's fantastic.
I know one thing that we need to do. Let's put a
What?
sign up at 342 showing the name of the park or soccer fields. 'Cause
Oh,
we
yeah.
had a couple of soccer games there, and people from Waxahachie and DeSoto couldn't find us. They were having
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. What do we need to do for that, Kyle?
Let me get with Scott. We may have to, a state highway, we may have to get with the state because it'll have to be one of their standard signs that they do that has the breakaway bottom and everything. That may not be able to happen really quick because the state is very slow and hard to deal with, but I'll start that process and then report back to y'all.
Okay,
Okay.
that'd be great. Ooh, what is that?
There's some feedback going on.
Actually, hey, special events. Not sure we're gonna have any special events because of COVID, but what you thinking, Kyle?
Yeah, it's not looking good right now for special events with the city. You know, we've been playing it safe. I don't know if y'all caught that on the signs that we put out that basically asking people how to behave in the parks with social distancing and washing of hands and, you know, don't come out if you don't feel good. And we had it was basically called Play It Safe Red Oak. But the
Right.
city itself has been playing it safe and you know, as we're progressing forward, and I think once a vaccine comes out and they're fairly certain of its ability to control the contagiousness of this disease, then we'll probably get back to normal. And I'm hoping that'll happen sometime in the next, I hope it's less than 6 months. You know, sometime in the spring would be wonderful, if not sooner.
I was gonna say after the election, we should know something.
And I think, I think that 6 months is about right too for the safe, you know,
Yeah.
event of having vaccines and all. Yeah.
So,
Okay,
I mean,
but
I'm not trying to
we-
predict anything, but if I was looking at it, I would say that, we may be looking sometime around Easter before we have a large gathering events like that again. But we can have some controlled events. I mean, like with, social distance spacing and, wearing a mask and everything like that. And, I think that once we start looking forward to something like the dedication of a park, that we can definitely do that in a safe manner. We're just going to have to do a little bit of planning for it.
Okay,
I saw an event that they had where they were having a concert, and they had the thing physically divided off with the markers and like pole markers of squares that, one family could be in, and then a little certain distance further, there could be another one and another. So they actually had it laid out so that, the people would have to be, distanced, and they're only in their own family group. So that's an option.
well, and I know churches are doing that too,
Oh, okay, good.
so. Yep, we'll see, but that's a good idea. We still put out, well, we don't have any Halloween decorations, but stuff with Christmas and stuff, yes?
Yeah, we can still do the Christmas decorations, no doubt.
Okay. Anybody have anything else they want to say about, special events?
I do not. No, I'm done. Sounds good.
Chappelle?
No, I'm good. Be glad when we get back to normal.
Yeah, me too. Joanne? Anything special events wise?
We lost her.
We lose her. And the only thing I can think of under special events is, Christmas time, we always see what Helping Hands needs, or not Helping Hands, the Pennies from Heaven, what the most things they need. I still think we need to maybe do that. So that might be something we want to include around.
Figure out how to do it real safely.
Yeah, well, this canned food drive that they just had, I didn't see anything. I didn't really see anything about it. I saw it on my water bill, but that was about it.
Yep.
I don't know where I missed everything, but
Well, you'll be glad to know that the city is actively pursuing a public relations manager right now. And so that, if you've noticed, about a week ago, we went through and modified the park's website, and trying to be able to get in a position where we can put out more information. And with that person that the city is going to hire, that will be a key person for us to have in order to make sure that we're maximizing information on our events and happenings that we feel like we need to publicize. And we just get it to that person, and then that person will be responsible for social media and other outlets in which our information should be, getting put out there to the public, including our website.
all right.
And so another thing too, I wanted to ask you guys if it was okay with y'all. I would like to get some headshots of y'all whenever we can all get together and be able to post y'all's face on there, where they do have the Parks and Recreation Commission there, and they have all your names, and I'd like to have your faces there too, if that's okay with y'all.
Sounds good. I mean,
Fine, just let
you
me
can text us, or let us know when you're going to try to do it, like with a text or email or something.
Yeah,
And
and once,
give me plenty of notice.
it may be a little while before we can all get together, but when we do, I'll certainly let everybody know, and then we'll get like my iPhone does really great pictures, and if not, I'll get another camera that has a high resolution. That way we can get some good pictures of y'all.
Yeah, I think that's good PR for this, you know, city and the Parks and Recreation Board. I mean, people really do want to know who's running this town. So I think that's a good idea for the different boards and stuff to do stuff like that. So I'm in.
We'll talk in more detail as things evolve. Like I'm hopeful that the new person coming, I know they're going to be really they're going to have to do good at social media. And that's one of the areas that I think that we could really benefit from, is being able
Oh,
to
absolutely.
push stuff out and start to pique some interest in the community. And so working with them is going to be really important to be able, particularly when we have events, to make sure that they're publicized and we get enough people to show up. Be great to have big crowds.
Yes.
Absolutely. I think that will
Okay.
help the image of the city also. That's all I want to say.
I do like the new signs that are out and about though. Like
Oh,
the
yeah.
one that's in front of the Public Works, those look really nice. They're on Red Oak Road, you know, where it says,
Uh-huh.
you know,
Mhm.
Public Works and Park Department and all that stuff.
It was very updated. That's very nice. Very current.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It is.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
Okay, prayer tree.
Okay.
Let me just start off by saying, I love the idea, as long as it does not involve the park department nor the city. I feel like after reading everything that lady had to say, I'm totally for players right now, whatever. But I don't think it's for us to get in the middle of. I think if she wants to plant a tree and she wants to take care of the tree in the park and let her have the prayer tree and her be in charge of that tree and the prayers and tags and everything, I'm all for it. But I don't think that we as this park board nor the city need to be involved in it. That's my personal opinion. I'll listen to others.
I agree with you. This is Maria. I agree with you. And after reading her information, I think that it is something that would be better to be more in her control rather than so dependent upon the city. And I'm like you. I think I like ideas of planting trees. And I think the reason that she wants to do it is good. But I just think that it's not something that the city would want to take on. That's all.
Okay. Chappelle?
I like the idea as well, but I thought it would be too much responsibility and other things that may happen with that, and that can kind of go different ways. I definitely think that should be something left up to her. I don't think it's something we should personally touch.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Joanne? Did you come back?
I don't think that religion and government should be mixed.
Exactly.
Exactly. Those are my exact thoughts.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So, it doesn't say we need to be taking any action on any of this stuff. So, Kyle?
All right. What I would like to do is be able to go back to the mayor and city council for the next city council meeting and give them y'all's opinion.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of challenges with doing this kind of thing, and I agree totally with y'all. I don't think that's something that we want to try to get into right now. It's too many ways that a tree program like that can go south. I do like the idea of planting the tree, but when you start doing things where you're adding things to the tree and then it becomes a maintenance nightmare, and it's just gonna be a challenge for the city or even the Parks Department to try to keep up with. And I know she says that there's financial means that will come about from that, but still, I don't think that it's a good idea. And I
I
just
agree.
want to make sure that, everybody gets gets the opportunity to voice their opinion from the board. And then I can tell the mayor, city council that, the consensus was that we like the idea, but we just don't think it's for us.
Exactly.
And I think that's
agree.
more along the lines of what the mayor was looking for, was a little bit of feedback and, is this a good idea, and kind of hear back from the Parks Board.
Well, if you need us to come to that meeting, we'll be more than happy to come to that meeting.
Absolutely. Just too many issues, just a legal mess, yeah.
So, board member updates. I did see one, for consideration. I know of two other people that have turned in applications, one of them being a male. But I would like to put this particular, new business, a board member update on hold until we get all the, applications in to be considered all at one time. My personal opinion.
I agree. I think that would be, oh, I'm sorry. Thought you were doing.
I agree.
I was just going to say I agree with what you just said. I think it's only fair that the others are also included at the same time. And that's all.
Chappelle,
I agree.
Joanne?
I agree.
Okay, can we ask, Kyle to have Lori table this until,
Absolutely.
our next meeting?
Yes, ma'am. And I'll take it off the council agenda. I put it in there as a placeholder in the event that y'all were to recommend somebody to council. And since we're gonna hold it off until the next meeting, which will be in about 3 weeks, I'll just let them know that the commission will bring a recommendation to council at the next meeting, not this one.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So if y'all, and this is Lori, if y'all are aware of people who have applied and I don't have their application, with Dana in and out of the hospital, things may have gotten missed. So if you know of someone who applied, ask them to resend it to me or to Kyle.
Okay.
Okay, that will do.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
So Laura, I have a question. Do I need to reapply? Because I know you and I kind of talked about this. So do I need to apply for that as well, or because I think
No.
I understand? Okay.
I'm kind of confused. Are you an alternate right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Can we get I guess we can talk about this. I mean, if it's y'all's desire to promote somebody from an alternate status as a commission, y'all can do that and basically make the recommendation to city council that how you want to operate with, saying, hey, here's who we recommend, and then let them make the decision to go ahead and make somebody full as a member, and then the alternates y'all can decide on as well. And just we'll do that the same way. To you just let me know what y'all desire, what you desire, and then I'll make sure council understands that.
I believe it is written in our, bylaws that it says the alternate will move into the next member. Or the member that's deceased or vacated. And And on that note, we need to take a look at, once we get a full board, we need to check commissioners if they still want to remain where they're at as is. Somebody wants to take over. You know, we've got all that stuff, but that comes up in what, January, Lori?
What was February? What's the February date?
When we reelect all the members or the
Oh,
position.
June.
Hmm.
Everyone's term ends in June.
No. When we elect chair, vice chair, secretary.
Oh, I don't know. We've never
Yeah,
done that.
that's-
since I've-
I read in there that it's done,
We do that
Once-
every January.
actually, it should be done every June, according to the city charter.
Nothing's
Every-
ever changed since I've been here.
We've always done it in January, but if we needed to do it in June, well, I guess we'll have to wait and do it in June then. As
And
long as
actually-
everybody's,
Okay, I'll find out some information and make sure that's accurate, and then that way, I don't think that there's a problem how you're operating, and then, I'll just find out what the legalese is on that, or, when it's supposed to happen, and then y'all can operate how you want to, how you're currently going, if that's the way you want to stay. I don't think there's gonna be a problem.
okay. I just want, I just don't want anybody to get their feelings hurt or anything as such. Okay, one other question for you, Kyle, before we go. This community cleanup, Public Works has taken it over. Where does
Yes,
that
ma'am.
leave us?
Well, essentially, we can ask them if they need, support on the event and be a part of that event, but they're going to take the lead on that event.
Is there a particular reason why they're taking the lead?
You'd have to ask the city manager that question. I did not ever hear the full reasoning behind that. So I don't have an answer for you.
All right, I'll just call Todd tomorrow, I guess. Todd in tomorrow?
Yeah, he's
You
available
can
every
get him on
day.
it. You can get him on
Huh?
his cell phone.
I don't know if I have his cell phone number. As a matter of
Send it.
fact,
You want me to
Okay.
email it to you? I can
Yeah,
email you in the morning.
that'd be great.
Okay.
All right, yep. I appreciate it, thank you. Enough said? Yeah. Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions for Kyle before we, turn it over to him for the financials or anything as such? No?
No,
Okay,
Okay, I don't have any financial reports for us at this time. Right now, what
Okay.
we're looking at is our new budget year starts on Thursday. So
uh-huh,
we have essentially the same budget that we had last year.
Okay.
And the parks budget was increased, and I'll, at the next meeting, when we're into the new year, I'll give you all the details on, essentially what the parks budget is and what the commission budget is, and how all the numbers look like at that point. Since
Okay.
most events were canceled this year, there was a great deal of savings that was seen by the city and on some of it, and that essentially will turn back into the city as per the way the cities work financially, and then we'll be reassigned the new budget for 2021 starting this next week, or start later this week. And to give you an update, also going through the parks, I put in the August monthly report and gave that over to everybody. but I'll update you to where we're at right now currently, because this is really, it's evolving by the day.
Okay.
Um, don't
exciting.
blink. Don't blink, because it is changing quickly, and it's all good.
Yep.
Um,
It's
right
exciting.
now, ma'am?
It's exciting.
Well, I hope so, because there's a lot of effort going in this by a lot of folks, and you know, you guys' support and everything's been really, really appreciated, because I know that people have done things for many years before I got here, and I just feel really blessed to be the one that gets to sort of put things into action and be able to
We
build
say
some nice facilities to turn over to the people of Red Oak, and you know, something that they certainly can be proud of for years to come.
save the best for last, and you're it.
Ah.
Let's go.
Thank you. Well, Oakmont Park, which will be in, looks like it's going to be called Hargroves Park, will be, right now the splash pad is still under construction. It's the 2,000 square foot splash pad. It does have the new surface on it, and there were some issues with it's a material that's mixed and troweled. It's kind of a rubberized surface. About 10% of it didn't adhere properly. So the contractor is going to come back and rip that up and re-pour it. And once they get that done, we'll be able to begin to test the water. And we'll talk about it a little bit more, but there'll be some decisions we need to make on timing for as the splash pad, when it will come on, when it will go off, and the annual dates, the start dates and the end dates. And I think a lot of that will be fairly easy to reason with, because of the way that the weather is. And not too many kids are going to want to go out there and play unless it's a little bit warm. And we start getting these cold fronts typically this time of year, and it's when you want to shut it down. And also will help us with the maintenance. We do the maintenance in the winter out there and have the splash pad moving forward. The playground is installed and ready to be played on. It did pass the playground safety inspection, and it had 2 issues, and the contractor fixed them, and so it did pass. And although there's a fence up now, and there's a sign up saying no trespassing, because we just don't want anybody to get out there and try to go play when everything else around it is not complete. It just isn't safe yet. So we anticipate that the playground and the splash pad will be closed for the winter, but the playground itself and the small pavilion that they built there will be available for use in probably about 60 days. And that's depending upon when the contractor gets the water connection, the electrical connection, and the restroom facility completed. So once they do that, we'll have a full-on park, and then we can probably be best to talk about our dedication time to be coinciding with the park itself. So it could even push into the spring and be really good timing, because you know, in March, your splash pad, the weather will be fairly decent, and you know, you just have a lot of really happy people. And you know, yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. Let me ask you a quick question. Hargrove has children?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch all.
Does Casey have children?
I think his children are grown. Yeah, he's got, I know he's got a daughter that plays like high school level or maybe more higher soccer. So I think he's got older kids, but I'll find out. I don't know.
I didn't know if he had smaller kids or whatever. I was just thinking about, you know, if this is Hargrove Park, why not dedicate the playground or, you know, name the playground after one of his kids and the splash pad after one of his kids? Just a thought.
Okay, I'll see what his kids' names are.
I think he has 2 girls at middle school age, maybe. I know they both play soccer.
Do they? Okay. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No. Good question. And then I'll jump over. Right now, they're playing soccer out there on the weekends. So if you get a chance to go by on Saturdays, there's a couple games they play every Sunday on the bigger field. The little kids play on Saturday. I mean, up to the 15 U's, and then the older kids play on Sundays because they use the entire facility. We have a blue lines, which designates the big field, and then the white lines are for all the smaller individual fields. And
Okay.
it's been very, very popular. We've made a few modifications to the parking lot to try to guide people in and out, since it does have overflow parking on the east and west of the regular parking lot. And
Uh-huh.
on Saturdays, when they have full games going at about 10:30 in the morning, all the parking is full. So they still have a little bit of overflow left, but not much. And so they're doing a good job though of timing it, because a part of their COVID plan is to not have a bunch of games at one time. They'll
Uh-huh.
have games, and then they'll have 45 minutes in between the end of one game and the start of another. It's been really good because people can evacuate the parking lot and the next group can come in. So that's worked out fairly well.
Good.
And between football and soccer, because of the hardship of COVID, I asked City Council to waive their fall fees for their sports, and they agreed to do it this year just because of the fact that they're both of them are affected in different ways. But football's been affected; their numbers are way down, and then the soccer group, their numbers are up. But last spring, they were one of the only groups in the DFW area that gave 100% of people's money back when the season didn't happen. And it was
Wow.
really kind of a really
Wow.
nice gesture on their part, even though it financially just crushed them. They had the
Yeah.
money, but they went ahead and spent and gave it all back, and it what they had in savings, they just basically wiped out. So luckily, City Council saw it that way, and they allowed them to waive their user fees for this fall, trying to give them a chance to make some of that back up.
Good. Good.
And then
Very
I'll
good.
jump over to the other project we have going right now, the Live Oak Sports Complex, which is kind of the football field up closer to where it's Red Oak Road and Live Oak, and the intersection there where Dobbins, where everything comes together, and then the back where the baseball and softball fields are going to go. And we seeded the football field back in July, and we had a lot of trouble getting that seed to come in. We had about 60% coverage as of 3 weeks ago, and it just wasn't sufficient enough for the field. So I asked City Council to allow me to spend about $40,000 of our contingency budget for that project, which is about $150,000 total. So we spent $40,000 a week, and
Whoop. Where'd you go?
Oops, we lost him.
Hello.
We're
Talking about all that
done. We're
money
done, right?
disappeared.
I know he passed out.
Passed out. That's it.
I guess he spent too much money.
Exactly. 150,000 and then spent 40. Woo! Get him in. What a hoot. Man, if you guys have not driven around, you have got to drive around.
Oh.
It's just, I mean,
I am definitely.
every 2 to 3 days, I'm driving everywhere. And it's like, oh my gosh. It's just
Yeah,
so
yeah.
exciting.
Over there by Watkins Park across from the street, it's really, they're going gangbusters.
Yeah. Yeah. Woohoo!
Hey,
Well,
give me
No,
a
I think we,
go around
we
and
lose
look at
him?
all the stuff.
I have not, I've driven past where that Oakmont Park thing that's going to be Hargrove Park. But
Mhm.
I haven't driven down into it, so I'm going to go this week and do that.
Yes, ma'am, you need to go down into
And my
Absolutely. When I heard walking path, I was like, I'm on this.
Okay.
Walking path.
Can you
Hey,
hear
there
me
he is.
now? I'm so sorry. My internet completely went out, so I had to reconnect.
Oh, no, are you okay?
We
Yeah,
thought you
we're
passed out.
good. What point did it was the last time y'all heard me?
$40,000.
Okay.
And then you passed out.
Well, city
Really?
council allowed us, they approved us to go ahead and use the contingency budget, for the large roll sod turf. And so we were able to do the football field and we finished it today. So if you get
Oh,
a
wow.
come by and go out there and take a look at it, it's really amazing. Field looks awesome, and everything else is starting to come together. You know, there's got a new scoreboard. It's not brand new, but we got it from another location, so it's new to us, and it's digital, and it's remote controlled. So it's really it's a neat add-on. And then we've got the meeting room out there at the facility with men's and women's restroom that have been renovated, and then the stands themselves, we're not finished renovating. That's kind of a pressing item right now is for us to get that done, but all the boards on the top are done. We just need to do the kick boards that are so nobody can fall through.
Oh, that's important.
It's a little scary when you get up there to the top and you realize there's not anything there. So we do have the
Yeah.
money. We just have to get the time because it takes a great deal of time to get it up there, but we'll get that done before next week. I don't think that's going to be a problem. We got some good weather ahead of us. So, but when you get a chance, swing by there and take a look at that field. It's really amazing. And then in the back, Sportscapes, they're doing the 6 fields back there, artificial turf. And right now they're stabilizing. They do line stabilization, and then they put a liner down, and then they come back and they put in a drainage rock, a material that allow it to drain. And then once they get all that down, they'll put the turf. So right now they're at the stabilization phase, and they're getting ready to put the liners down on the fields. And once that's done, you'll start seeing a lot of progress. Currently, it's a little bit still a little bit messy back there, but it's becoming more organized every day, and including the road and the parking area. It's, even though it's going to be gravel, they're getting that. It's called 57 gravel. It's a dustless type of rock, and they're rolling that out right now. So that way there'll be a clear way for everybody to get in and get out of there. And I can explain a little bit more to that to y'all later on, or if somebody wants to take a tour of it or whatever, just give me a call, and I'm more than glad to take anybody around there and take a look at it and just see it firsthand to understand what's going on, because it's a very complex. I do think that it's gonna. I've gotten so many phone calls from other cities and other leagues, and people want to use it. And I'm like, well, right now the only users that we're talking about at this time is our own, Red Oak baseball and softball. And so that's, they're going to get an opportunity to set their dates before anybody can set foot on it, and it'll be that way every year. They'll have priority, and we got to take care of our people, because this is this is the Red Oak field, so we need to take care of our people before we allow anybody else to use them. And
Exactly.
there's opportunities for some to get some financing back from, because then typically the turf that's going down on a baseball situation is going to last us. The cutout areas will probably replace every year, but the general field in general will need to be replaced in about 10 years. So we got to be looking at that too. Is can we do a little cost recovery to help lessen the blow when we got to spend another $2 million to replace the turf?
Well, wait till people see that football field. It's nice.
Well, yeah, if anybody wants to, like I said, if anybody wants to tour any of these areas, just feel free to give me a call and set up a time with me, whatever's convenient for you, and we'll run around and show you, because unfortunately, we can meet like one-on-one, but as a group, it's kind of like that's been frowned upon. So I just want to make sure that everybody does have the opportunity to go and look at this stuff.
I definitely want to go and look at it because every time I drive by, I get excited, and I've been bragging. So I am so excited that we're getting this stuff because my kids have played on that field for a long time. So like, I'm happy to be able to brag. I'm like, oh, we're getting turf. What y'all got? So I definitely want to go see it.
Yes, ma'am, too. You need
I
to see
can
it.
tell you, you're going to have a lot to brag about. I mean, the city council and a lot of people that came before me did a lot of really great planning and everything. And I just feel lucky that I get to execute the plan. But it's like, oh my gosh, this is really, it's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it in anywhere I've ever been. So this is cool.
Well, it's cool. It is cool.
Long time coming.
Yeah,
Long time coming.
it's a great time to be in Red Oak.
That's right. There you go.
And if you're not here, you might want to come here soon because it's really
That's
pretty
right.
awesome.
That'll help the PR person also.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But that's it in a nutshell for us, what we're doing for construction. And, this is our 10-year coming up, it's our time to renew our master plans. And so right now the city manager and the mayor are beginning to select committees to put together to go through the different areas. And, with that, what I look forward to hearing back from the information we're going to get from that is, where do we go from here? And what is it that people want? And, it kind of gives us a little bit of a roadmap. So when we're talking about, hey, we're going to put in these trails or whatever. Well, honestly, I told them I could put them anywhere that I want to, but it may not serve people well. And so hearing back from the community and having somebody say, hey, here's where we'd like to see it, that really helps. Takes pressure off of me from trying to make decisions that might not really, to me, they might be a good decision, but somebody who's lived here for, 10 years, 15, 20 years, they might say, hey, that's a bad idea. Why don't you put it here instead? This is where it would work better. So that's what I look forward to getting from this. So, and y'all be hearing more on this in the coming days with with the selection and everything.
So let me see if I understand. Let me see if I got what you were saying. This last little piece of that. What are you setting up to get input or feedback on what should be done? I don't understand where. Did you set something up or?
The city does a lot of master planning, and the Parks and Recreation master plan is essential for us, particularly if we get any grant funding from Texas Parks and Wildlife, because it's a requirement. And so essentially what they'll do is they'll put a committee together, and the committee will come up with the ideas in which they want to present to the community. The community typically has an opportunity to give some feedback, and then the architects will develop and design a plan that fits Red Oak for not only for now, but for the next, what we'll try to accomplish in the next 10 years. Although there's no guarantee of what they put in there will ever be done. Right. It's just basically a roadmap for us to say, this is what we'd like to see done coming from the community.
So you're saying that the city council is going to put together a committee to put together some ideas, or is it Parks?
No, typically the mayor does that. He'll put the group together. And I know for sure that the head of the Parks Commission Jenny will definitely be on that. Besides that, I don't know. And then typically we can feed her all the information, and she'll give us feedback on, hey, here's what we're working on here. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? And then that helps her too, to kind of guide her when she goes back to say, hey, here's what we think. So that way that there's a voice coming from the commission to be able to say, hey, here's what we think. And then, at some point there will be some public input. So what we try
Sure,
to do is
yeah.
narrow it down. You know, somebody's going to come up and say, "Hey, we want to see a Ferris wheel out here," and you know, things that might be a little bit out there that wouldn't work. And so basically what to try to do is narrow things down to feasible items that the community would work here and would be probably a lot of really cool stuff, but basically putting together a list of items that are feasible and then let the community come back and say, here's how we'd like to prioritize that. We think, like right now, my opinion is, I think walking trails and connectivity is a really hot item. And I think that will show once people start giving feedback, because in the Parks and Rec world right now, that's really the hot item. Is everybody's talking about how they want walking paths and walking trails and hike and bike trails and how they can connect within the city. So therefore you get you know, if I want to go to the grocery store, well, I don't necessarily have to get on the road. I can take the walking path and get there, that kind of thing. So,
And one last, oh, I'm sorry. One last question. You mentioned a person's name. I think it was the parks that would eventually be working with the final list. What was her? I think it was a she. Who was it?
we're talking about Jenny.
Oh,
As the chair of the Parks Board, she'll be afforded
gotcha.
the opportunity to be unless she doesn't want to do it, and then she can appoint somebody else from the commission to do it in her absence. But
okay. Oh, because I was trying to connect the dots, and I was going, "What? Have you lost me?" So now it's clear. That makes sense. No. That's why we have these conversations, so we can get clarity. So, yeah, now it makes sense. Okay, gotcha.
Now, if you see anything in Frisco or any of them places up there that you think we need to have down here, you take pictures and bring them to me.
Yes, ma'am.
Got it.
You got it?
Yeah,
Got it.
We can stand our ground.
That's right.
Yeah, a lot of really neat things that'll come out of this, I feel like, you know, and particularly with the city growing the way it is, and we have a little bit of different avenues of financing that were never available before, we can be responsible with what they give us and go out there and kind of build a complete system that will, you know, hopefully one day we can look back and say, hey, look what we did. We connected all the parks. You know, you can go from one park to the other, or you can, if you don't ever want to go to a park, you can just say, okay, I just want to stroll or go to the grocery store, or, you know, whatever you want to do. You can get out and do that without having to get into a car. And that's pretty cool.
That is really cool. That is really cool.
But that's all that I had, and I'm sorry I talked so much. I'm really excited and want to share with y'all everything that's going on and try to see how we can all get interconnected again and get everything going like we had it before. So, you know, I kind of feel like I've been on an island for a little bit and not having people that I can talk to that are really, really into parks like you guys are. So I'm excited about getting to meet with y'all again.
And thank you for everything as well.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
This is the first year I hadn't complained that my taxes went up. I've actually been excited because I'm seeing all the things that, like, I'm just being honest. Like, I'm like, each year, like, I'm normally like 10 to the 10 when I get my tax. I'm like, you know what? Do I really want to stay over here? But now that I'm seeing all of the things that are happening in Red Oak, like, I'm okay with that. Like, and I think that's the takeaway for a lot of people that live here. Once they start seeing all the things that are happening, like, they're okay with that. And I think that's just a lot.
Well, you just talking it up, and anything we need to address, Chappelle, you just let us know.
Yeah,
I will.
I'm available to any of y'all if y'all have questions, or like I said, if you want to take a tour, just set up a time and we'll go out there and do that. You know, that way you can get a full understanding of where we're at right now, because it's kind of like time stopped 6 months ago, and then all of a sudden we're kind of getting back into it. And I just want to make sure that every one of y'all has the opportunity to see what we're doing.
Oh, yes, I will be
Looking
calling
forward.
you because I was sure.
Awesome.
I agree.
I look forward to it. And I guess, Jenny, do you know what time we're going to visit on Thursday?
So what's a good time for you?
Let me look here real quick to see what's cooking that day.
Ooh, baby.
I've got a leadership meeting at 9:30 till 11, and I'm good after that.
Okay. How about I'll meet you at your office at 11:30.
Perfect. I'll put that on the calendar.
We may grab a Subway and drive around, talk, visit, whatever.
Okay, that'd be awesome.
Cool?
Yes, ma'am.
You put 11:30 with you. Lori, don't forget to send me Todd's number.
I will. I'll do it as soon as I get there in the morning.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Hey, can you tell me anything about that new event center that opened? Have you heard anything about it?
I haven't heard a word about it.
Well, I have seen it, and OMG, it is
Thought it
beautiful.
was-
I think they had a wedding there, I want to say maybe a week ago, and
Yeah.
the parking was nice. The lights on the outside were nice. Like, yeah, it was pretty nice. I was impressed.
Who?
I was said that I heard that it's all one big room. I think it would be, probably
I
like
think,
3 or 4 small rooms that would make a big room. All
Huh.
one room.
Chappelle, do you know who owns it?
I don't know who owns it, and I said I want to go in there personally and take like a tour. Like I just went because when I seen they were having an event, of course I was being nosy, so I just I was like, oh my gosh, because I love the colors of the outside. Like it wasn't too bright, it was just enough, and I like how I seen how they had the outside set up, and someone was getting married, and it was like how they had it set up on the outside was really nice. So maybe we should like go and see like the inside. But from what I
Good
could see
idea.
just walking around, it was nice. I don't know like how it's set up in the inside, but the outside was really I was impressed just from the outside.
Well, I drove by to try to get a phone number to call somebody, and there's no phone numbers. Nowhere.
Let's just go knock on the door. Let me in.
There wasn't anybody there. No cars, no nothing.
Oh,
Whatever happened
that
to, I
didn't
know
work.
we discussed before, whatever happened to, I know we were talking about like a restaurant that was going to come here. They're going to try to put on the lake. I just vaguely remember that. Is that still in the works?
It's
Yes,
under
ma'am.
construction.
No, okay. I want to go see that
if you
too.
drive, yeah, you can. If you're out there at the pond,
Hallway.
yeah, if you're at the pond, you can see a whole bunch of work going on across the pond, and they're leveling it and doing all kinds of things to get that thing done.
It'll be
Come on, Reno.
be called the Tajin Restaurant, and they're anticipating it'll be finished and open in April.
April. Okay, that's good timing.
They are?
Yeah,
Wow.
everything's happening in April. I like it.
Lori, you need me to bring these minutes by for you signed?
Ooh, I can do that. I can send it with Kyle so you can sign the original.
You got the
You get it-
original?
Yeah, I can have him have you sign the original. I'll give it to him tomorrow, and he can have you sign
Okay.
it Thursday.
Okay. That'll be
Okay,
fine.
thank you. And then our
Yes,
next
ma'am.
meeting, I will be October 20th. That's our next,
October
regular.
20th.
if we get back on our regular schedule. Isn't that what you're talking about, Kyle?
Yes, ma'am, I'd like to.
Yeah.
Okey doke. And we'll just do it
October
the same. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
6 feet, let me ask you, well, I was gonna say, if I can do a meeting up in our big meeting room, because it holds like 75 people, we can definitely get our commissioners and city staff spaced out 6 feet to have a face-to-face meeting.
Oh, that'd be great.
That's Todd's call. We'll have to ask him about that.
Oh, I'll talk to him about it tomorrow. Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to adjourn. Is that what you're looking for?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
All right, I make,
Maria made a motion to adjourn. I'll take second. Hey, Chappelle, you still there?
Yes, I'm here. I accept.
Okay, you gonna second the motion?
Yes, I second the motion. I thought you said it. I'm sorry.
Okay. Whew. Afraid we were gonna have to keep going. All right.
Oh, no, it's time to go.
Yeah. Meeting adjourned at 8:28. I appreciate you guys.